And this is where Britain's top commentators speak out on controversial issues without the fear of the cancel culture sweeping the rest of the media. The dark underbelly of trans activism was exposed yesterday as a women's rights rally was aggressively hijacked by a gang of masked extremists. A lone woman was assaulted at the Standing for Women event as counter-protesters from the Manchester Trans Rise Up movement surrounded the city's statue of suffragette hero Emmeline Pankhurst in St Peter's Square. But the brave feminist, waving a purple, white and green suffragette flag, defiantly stood her ground. Look.
Get your hands off me. You're grabbing my
Hey, stop.
I don't know
we're going to do this. You came into a space and stood.
It's not your space, it's a public space.
So what's
Excuse me.
J.K. Rowling tweeted about that. I never expected the right side of history to include so many people in masks intimidating and assaulting women. Did you? But she never dropped her flag. Emmeline would be proud. Well, top political commentator, founder of the Free Speech Union, Toby Young, joins me now. Toby, I mean, nasty scenes like these are actually damaging the trans cause, aren't they?
Yes, I think they are. I have no idea why this activist group in Manchester, I think they're Manchester Trans Rise Up, decided to stage this protest. A group of feminists decided to hold a meeting in a public square in Manchester in front of a statue of Emmeline Pankhurst, one of the leaders of the suffragettes. And for some reason, this group of woke activists decided to stage this protest and stand in front of the statue of Emmeline Pankhurst to try and prevent these feminists standing in front of it and making speeches. I mean, completely unnecessary, provocative, unpleasant thing to do. And as we saw in that particular clip, one woman was, more or less assaulted by one of these protesters. And the irony, Dan, is that there was a police officer from Manchester Police standing by and looking on, did absolutely nothing to intervene to protect that woman clutching that flag. And afterwards, when someone else had stepped in to protect her, the police then interviewed her and threatened to arrest her for a breach of the peace.
Toby, that's one irony. I completely agree. But isn't the other major irony here the fact that actually it's big burly blokes who are taking on women physically?
It's incredible, Dan. I mean, part of the kind of communications strategy of trans activists is to portray trans people as these fragile victims, threatened by these burly feminists. And yet here they were at this demonstration dressed up like ninjas,
Yes.
In order to try and be as intimidating as possible. I mean, on the one hand, it's extremely sinister. It's not going to win anyone over to their cause. It's going to persuade absolutely no one of the rightness of their cause. It's just going to generate sympathy for these gender-critical feminists. But at the same time, it was so extreme, the attempts to intimidate and frighten, so over the top, it actually spills over into comedy. And they look absolutely ridiculous. And if anything is going to damage the woke cause, Dan, it's the woke cause becoming just hilariously uncool. And that's what J.K. Rowling said about these protesters. It was a hilarious own goal. The one thing the woke have going for them is they're supposed to be kind of somehow cool on the right side of history, these sort of social justice warriors. And here they are dressing up like action figures that you'd expect to see kids wearing on, come as your favorite book day at school. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
OK, no good. You've made me feel better about it now, Toby. Let's just laugh at these absolute idiots. But when it comes to big burly blokes threatening some sort of physical violence against biological women, that's when I draw the line. But great analysis as ever from Toby Young. Thank you, Toby. We'll speak soon.